Thanks for joining us on Booklights. Be sure to connect with us at www.readersentertainment.com for articles, blogs, videos, and podcasts that matter to readers.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Booklights. Happy New Year. This is our first episode of 2026. I just can't believe the years are flying by. But you are in for a treat today because we're all here because we love books. And this next book and author are here to talk about an amazing book club, women's club. So anyway, without any further ado, I will introduce you to Kristine Jensen. She is our author visiting today. And Kristine Jensen is a lifelong storyteller whose career has included writing scripts, screenplays, and narratives for some of the world's most recognizable brands. With a talent for bringing characters and ideas to life, she has spent decades distilling complex ideas into language that resonates. I am so proud of myself for reading these big words on a Monday. I'll get back to it. Born and raised on a farm in South Dakota, Kristine found the spark for her debut novel hidden in a box of handwritten club minutes kept by her grandmother, records of a real-life women's group that met for more than 60 years. That discovery blossomed into The Wednesday Club, a novel about intergenerational friendship, quiet resilience, and the search for belonging. She now lives in Oregon and writes fiction that honors women's inner lives and the quiet beauty of small town communities. You can learn more about the Wednesday Club that inspired her work and the movement to create more Wednesday clubs on her website. And I did include in the show notes a link to the Wednesday Club website. Be sure to check it out. There's lots of great photos on there. She has a blog. And also, if you're interested in creating a women's group in your community, there's a lot of great resources there for that too. So check out thewednesdayclub.com. And without any more delays, how are you, Kristine?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for that lovely introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. Can you tell everybody about the Wednesday Club and why they might want to kick off their reading journey of 2026 with this book?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, after my grandmother passed away, I found this book of handwritten minutes of her club, which I thought in the beginning, oh, I will just publish these notes and it will be really interesting. But as I dug into them, I discovered, oh, there's 20 years of minutes.
Wow.
And, they were kind of dry because they held their meetings by parliamentary procedure and they really just noted down what they did in the meetings. But it inspired me about the idea of these rural women who were meeting on a regular basis. They met for friendship. They were also really helping their community. And I thought that was really cool. But then, as you know, all good novels really need conflict. So
Yes.
what could the conflict be in this group? And what it inspired in me was this idea of a city girl, 16-year-old Ivy, whose mother dumps her basically at her grandparents' farm. She didn't know her grandparents that well, certainly wasn't used to rural life. And so what would happen to her over the course of a year? And it's a story of discoveries of family secrets that she came upon, and also about how these women really rallied to help Ivy find a sense of home.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
And when you were writing this book, is this the first time that you worked on a novel? Because it sounds like you were doing screenplays and things like that. How was this experience a little bit different?
It was totally different. And I have to say that the idea of writing a novel was completely intimidating to me. I had worked, I'm still working my career as a marketing writer. I worked in the video production business, writing, much shorter scripts. I wrote
Right.
screenplays, which are a maximum of 120 pages. And somehow the concept of a novel felt really big. Not just you,
Right.
but how do you weave conflict and interest into the stories? How do you keep readers engaged? How do you even write in a novel format that is engaging? I didn't know any of that. I had a lot to learn.
Yeah, yeah. Did you find writers groups or how did you come down that road?
I went to a couple of women's writing retreats, which were really helpful. They were both led by a writer named Jess Lurie, who
Hmm.
writes thrillers, and she's gotten really popular. She was fantastic. I joined a couple of writing groups. I went to a lot of workshops. I read a lot of books.
Yes.
Um, at draft four, I hired a developmental editor who was, really helpful to me. And I just kept revising and kept learning as I go. I had about 20 early readers who were brave
Hmm.
enough to read drafts at different points.
Yes.
I added to them for their, great critiques. And finally, I decided it was done at draft 12. So I'm,
Wow. It was quite a journey.
it was a journey. Some of the drafts were, of course, less significant than others.
Hmm.
Um, and I made a decision late, I think at draft 10, to switch from present tense to past tense. So it
Hmm.
was that
And
that
that's a big edit to go back through the whole book and
it's a pretty big edit. And interestingly, I'm really sort of happy that I ended up self-publishing because I thought that I had checked everything completely thoroughly. I released the draft. A writer friend of mine read it like within the first week, and she was like, "Uh-oh, Kristine, I found a few places where you didn't get things completely switched from present to past tense." I was like,
right.
"Oh no." But with the beauty of self-publishing, you make the corrections, you
Yeah, and put it
upload a
back
new
up.
manuscript. It's like, whew, okay.
Yes, yes, fixed. Well, and I'm a hybrid, so I had traditional publishers and did it myself. And even with traditional publishers, there are always little things and you think, "Oh my gosh, we went through this book so many times and then a copy editor and then a proofreader and we all missed it, all those eyeballs." So, readers who are listening, it takes a village and even then it's just so difficult to always pick them up because our eyeballs change it to the right. And so we
It's
don't even see it.
true. Your brain kind of, yeah, makes that switch. We've
Yeah,
seen these exercises where you fill in missing letters and it's like your brain just does that automatically.
right, right.
Really
Well,
helps.
and you mentioned too going from present tense to past tense. Past tense is really comfortable to read in book format, but I'm guessing in screenwriting everything is present tense because it's happening right then, right?
Yes, it's true. It absolutely is. And I think because of my background in film and the screenwriting, in a lot of ways, I envisioned this book in terms of scenes.
Right.
Um, and the chapters are short, and I'm comfortable with that kind of writing. And of course, yeah, that's present tense.
Hmm.
Add that to the fact that I think that more and more I'm seeing in contemporary novels, this present tense is being used a lot. And so I thought, oh yeah, that completely makes sense. And then I'm not sure what it is, what made me decide to change. I have multiple points of view, which can be a little bit more challenging for readers as it is.
Right.
Um, and I was reading something that you make it that much harder if you have multiple points of view if you're not in past tense.
Right.
Add that to the fact that the novel is set in 1963, 64.
So it feels past.
it feels past. And I was
Right.
like, I think it might remove a hurdle if I
Right.
change everything to past tense.
Right. Even though that's a Herculean edit. So kudos to you.
It was. I tried it with a few chapters first to see if I was gonna like it. I took a break from it. I came back to it, and I decided that I liked it. And so to me it was worth doing. I'll I'll let you in on a little secret because it is not really like a writing change, but just more of a grammatical change.
Right.
I to see if AI could do that successfully for me. I didn't
Oh,
at
to see if it could
all
switch the
at
tense.
yeah, I was really against using AI for any writing, but I was like, this is just a grammatical change. So
Right.
I'm here to tell you that AI
AI
is
is dumb.
it was not it was not close. So I was like, no, I was doing as much cleaning up. I tried it with three chapters. I was doing as much
Right.
cleaning up as just going through and changing it.
And
So,
just doing it yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Computers really aren't that smart yet.
Goodness.
Well, and plus the English language is difficult enough as it is, so it's hard for humans to keep track of it, let alone some machine, because there's too many, variables. It's always this rule until this happens, and then it's this
Very
rule.
true.
So, I mean, but when you were writing this book, did you, when it was all finished, without any spoilers, did you have a favorite scene in the book?
Mm. That no one has asked me that question before. It's really interesting. Um, Yeah, it might be a spoiler if I told you my favorite. It might be a
Okay.
spoiler. I will tell you that, of course, I loved Ivy, the protagonist, but I absolutely adored Itola. She is so funny, she's so goofy and vulnerable, and really is the character that brings the humor to the book. And I just adore her.
Is she the grandma?
No, she is one of the sisters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean the grandma is wonderful and sweet and kind. But it's Atola who's really the goofball. Um,
Aw, I love it.
yeah,
And I read from the blurb there's like a big secret in the book that turns things around. So anyway, we don't want to spoil it. Did you have any big surprises when you were writing the book? Like you thought this was going to happen and Ivy or somebody else went, "Nah, we're going to go this way."
I did have a big surprise in that there was a character who emerged at about draft. Hmm, draft six, I think. I was not planning to include this character. And I'm not going to say the gender because that would probably give it away. But this character insisted to me on being put in, and it required a revision of the story. And yeah, this character would not stop yakking at me in my head. So I'm like, okay, fine. All right, fine. I'll put you. And it turned out to really change the story arc and in a good way. So I
I
guess,
love that.
yeah, I'm such an outline writer. And
Oh, okay.
because, with a lot of characters, and different character arcs to try to manage, I had put together an Excel spreadsheet so that
Hmm.
each chapter I knew, and I saw over the course of the year the arc for each character. So when this new character came, I was
You're
like,
like, no,
well, wait a second.
gonna change everything.
It'll change everything, or at least a lot of things. So I guess that's my encouragement to stay open.
Yes, yeah. I am more of a discovery writer. I know the ending of the book, but I never know how I'm going to get there. And I have had wild surprises, like a character who was supposed to die, someone rescued them, and I'm like, what is even happening? And then I realized, oh my gosh, now I need one more book in the series. Dang it. But I'm so glad I trusted it because it really did need that book. And sometimes I feel like I was lucky enough to meet Ray Bradbury a couple times, and he was so passionate about stories. And he used to believe there's like this super conscious that once these stories told, and if you're brave enough to let it download and you go with it, that gives you the most pure story. And so that series was the wildest to write because I was trying really hard to embody that. And when there was a whole other book, I'm like, really? But it was right. And I think sometimes we get so pigeonholed with what we think needs to happen that we maybe force things. And the story's trying to tell you, I have a better idea. So I love that you were open enough to add another character because I bet that changed everything, right?
It did. And I have to say, I'm in awe of you being a discovery writer. Like, that takes a lot of leap of faith.
It's a lot of trust. Yeah.
It's a lot of trust. And yet, as you mentioned, like, the cool thing is that that leaves you open to all
It,
kinds of things, right?
exactly. But as a discovery writer, we look at people with outlines. And some days when we're sitting at the computer going, I don't know what happens next, we look very envious at your spreadsheet going, dang it. While
Right.
I'm stuck for a week, you're like, oh, I know what's happening. So it's very funny that we all
It's very
we
funny.
all get envious points at some time going, wow, I wish I could do that. But you have to honor your process. I have definitely learned over the years there is no right way to write a book. And once you figure out what your process is, you need to stick with that because that's how your creative brain works. And so nothing wrong with it. It's just how it works. So
It's very true.
yeah. Well, what is next for you? What are you working on after the Wednesday Club?
I'm working on my next spreadsheet.
Yay! You're plotting something out?
It's a sequel to this book.
Oh, nice.
I had so many readers who fell in love with these characters and said, wait a second, we're not done yet. Like, Ivy's only 17 when the book ends, and Shirley, like, she's just really beginning her life. And what about all the other characters and what's going to happen to them? So I'm working on just starting, I'm in that spreadsheet phase
Right?
of a sequel that will take place 4 years later. So
Okay.
enough time has happened so that, our 16-year-old is now a young woman, a very
Hmm.
different person with a very different, more mature viewpoint. And the other characters have matured and changed as well. So um, I'm excited about it.
Yay. So there's going to be more Wednesday Club meetings.
There is. I think there might be three. But yikes, maybe like you, maybe a new character. Maybe
Right. New character walks in and you're like, dang it, there's going to be another book. You never know. Don't close the door.
okay.
Um,
I love it.
So, as far as the Wednesday book clubs go, I saw on your website that you have like a whole page dedicated to how you can found your. Do you have a club where you are?
Um, I would say that we call ourselves the Saturday Sisters, and we're
Oh,
really
okay.
more of a writing group, but
Mm-hmm.
we meet once a month, and we share things, we share our writing, and of course, we become friends over the course of time. And I think that's the thing that I'm trying to talk about with the Wednesday Club movement is that it kind of doesn't matter whether it's a book club, a writing group, um, a more social group, a nonprofit volunteer type group. the importance is regular connection with other women who can be there to support you. And having a purpose and a theme is great because the friendships will evolve over time.
Right.
It's that, constant connection and hopefully in person, face to face connection, which we
Mm-hmm.
all really need, um, that we're longing for, especially as our world becomes busier.
Right.
Women go through different phases of their life, whether that be kids leaving home or kids in school for the first time or divorce or
Right.
moving, and we become kind of unmoored and lost. I have
Right.
completely changed my life and moved to Oregon 13 years ago, knowing only one person who was my now husband. And I realized how challenging it can be when you don't have a community of women and
Right.
how very important that is.
I agree. And I think it's interesting that do you know um, why your grandma's group kept meeting notes like that?
I think that some of it was the it was some of it was what they did in those years. Although, it's interesting. I have minutes dating back from 1927,
Wow.
and it is sort of incredible that somehow maybe they felt that what they were doing was important enough to keep a record of. Um, it is, it is interesting. They took themselves very seriously. They elected officers. So they had a president, a
Wow.
secretary, and a vice president. They had committees that did different things, like they had flower committees that took flowers to people in the hospital. They had a philanthropy arm which raised money for um, different needy organizations. And every month they had a program. This was a format that continued for these 60 years. They would have a program every month, usually a report on current affairs. So they also wanted to educate themselves about what was going on in the country, what
So
was
they would like bring in a speaker to their meeting?
Sometimes they would bring in a speaker.
Wow.
Sometimes one of the members would, let's say, report on a trip they had taken to London, which was a huge deal, right? In
Right.
the 50s or 60s.
Yeah. Flying on
Um,
an airplane was a big deal. Yeah.
yeah, it really was. And they would have every month they would have a roll call topic, and they would plan out their year in advance with a program that listed the roll call topic and the and what the program would be and who would be hosting at their house, which was, of course, a really big deal. And everybody
Wow.
had to get their house spotless and the meals. So the format that I use in the novel is it spans for 13 months. And in between every segment of month, I have Wednesday Club minutes, which mimic the minutes of the real Wednesday Club. So they tell the
Wow.
roll call topic and what the program was, and um, they they had a creed which they followed, and that was
Wow.
important to me. And I use that as a vehicle to get us
Hmm.
months.
Yeah, that's amazing. My great grandmother, um, she is no longer with us, but she had when she was in her 90s, my grandfather took her back to Missouri because there was a children's hospital there that had this stained glass window that they were trying to track down their, I mean, over the years, my great grandmother lived to be like 105. And when she was like 95, the hospital was having some big, century anniversary or something. And there was a stained glass window that they had lost track of who gave it to them, but there were little initials at the bottom, and someone remembered that it had been kids who donated it. And it turned out that it was my great grandmother had gotten together with a group of 5 friends. And this was before Girl Scouts existed. But like your grandmother, they made their own little club. These kids, they were like 8, 9, and they got together and they wanted to do something for their community. And they picked the children's hospital because they were kids, and they made doilies. My grandmother's dad was a baker or something. And so they would tear apart the burlap bags from flour and crochet them into doilies at their meetings and then sell them to raise money until they had enough money for a stained glass window for the children's hospital. And these were kids. And when I talked to her about it, she was telling me, well, we didn't have Girl Scouts then, but we wanted to give back to our community, even though we were kids. And so this was something we could do. And it makes me think about, like your grandmother, is that community is so important. And sometimes I think because we have social media and it made the world much smaller, we forget the power that can happen when community gets together, like, in your own little spot, your own corner of the world, right? I mean, we kind of lose that now in our big technology world, but there's magic when a few people, those little Girl Scouts selling their cookies, they're doing stuff.
Absolutely. I love that story about your great grandmother and
Yeah,
your
isn't that
birth.
wild? But yeah, people want to change the world, and even if it's just a stained glass window for the children's hospital, but that was a big deal for them. And 100 years later, it was still there, and that's so cool. She was the only one of her group that was still alive, so she went and accepted the thing, and the newspaper took pictures of her in front of the stained glass window. It was really cool, but it was something tangible that they could give to their community. And I think that sometimes gets lost. I mean, there are still Girl Scout meetings and things, but when you're an adult, what do you do? We kind of lose it.
We do. It's really true. I love that they were able to find her and track
Track
things
her down.
down.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. It was wild. And that was before the internet was at its infancy. We were all still on dial-up, but they tracked down some sort of record of when the window got given. And I mean, she was a different last name by then. It was wild when my grandfather had gotten this email to find out if he's related to this person. And yeah, they found her. It was pretty amazing. but but I love the idea of, for anyone who's listening, a book club could change the world in your own community if you just get together and decide, what can we do? There could be something. My son was an Eagle Scout, and in our little community we were in San Diego then, and it was the outskirts of San Diego, but we had a community chalkboard that was just in horrible disarray, and it needed a roof or something because every time it would rain, everything's washed off. And so for my son's Eagle Scout project, he raised the money to get a concrete foundation so whoever's writing on it isn't standing in a rut in the mud, and got a roof on it. And it was amazing. And a little light, they had a little light so you could see it at night, and the kids did it. So, there's so much that you can do when you pull in community. And so for anyone listening, there's no reason that you can't get together with your book club and also, do something to help your community.
Totally. I
Mm.
think that's great. And I think, that was the philosophy of the Wednesday Club, was that really the best you could do was to give back and to serve people in need. They were really driven by that.
I
And
love that.
yeah, I think finding ways to do that is is incredible. Yeah. It
And it
fills
can
your
give you
heart.
purpose, right?
It can totally give you purpose and a reason to bond with other people when you're helping others.
Hmm. And do you feel like Ivy maybe learned that in the Wednesday Club? What did your book's theme end up being?
I think she totally did. I think that, Ivy went from, she's kind of roped into her grandmother's Wednesday Club. Becoming the secretary. And in the beginning, she's like, "You must be kidding me, right? I'm a city girl. These are these ridiculous, like old biddies in this club. I have nothing in common with them. My life is over. Like this is the worst possible thing." Um, and in the end, she becomes drawn into their lives and realizes that there are ways that she can help them as well as ways that they're helping her. So I think they really give her a sense of self. This idea of intergenerational friendships, that you can be friends with people that are
Yeah.
way older or way younger. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're there for one another, age doesn't really matter like that. Um,
100%. Yeah.
100%. And the
Yeah.
secret that she discovers is a really devastating one for her, and for her to see how the different members come to help her and get her through. She goes through a few events that are really rough, as do the other Wednesday Club members. They're all going through, different challenges of their own. And to see how the women support each other, and lift each other up, I think that's the biggest theme of the novel.
I love that. I love that. And that idea that you can go through a rough patch and it doesn't mean you're a failure. Everyone is going through it. And that's another benefit of community because you feel alone when you're going through something. But the reality is everybody's got something,
At
you
one
know.
time or another, right?
Yes.
We all face challenges for sure.
Yes. And with community, if one person's going through chaos, hopefully the other people can lift you up because right now they're not in the chaos.
It's totally true. It's really, really true.
Life
Yeah,
is messy.
life is messy. Life is messy, but as they say, where would we be without our friends?
Right. Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, when people finish reading the Wednesday Club and they're all excited, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you? Are you on social media? Should they go to your website? What's best?
I think best is probably the website, wednesday-club.com, because there they can sign up for my mailing list. They can read the blogs if they're interested in what it takes to start a Wednesday club of their own. I am also on social media. Wednesday Club Novel is my Instagram page, and Wednesday Club Novel on Facebook as well. Um, I like social media. I'm probably not as consistent with as I should be. But it's,
But you will get messages.
and that's great. That is really fine. Uh,
No, good. I always tell readers who are listening that I know that there's this perception that, oh, they're too busy and so I won't bother them. But please, if a novel moves you, reach out to the author because sometimes we're having really awful writer days where the words aren't coming and we start feeling like, why do I do this? And then your message comes in and it changes everything. So you could be responsible for the next Wednesday Club book.
Completely gratifying to hear from readers. Like it makes all those, isolated early morning hours of writing it makes it all really worth it. And I have made some wonderful new connections from
Yay.
readers who found something in Wednesday Club that really resonated for them. And that brings me so much joy. As you know, as a writer, it's like, that's why
It's
we
the
do it.
best. Yes,
It's
why
the
we do it. Yep, yeah. I always feel like I think it was Madeline Ingle who said that, that the characters don't have any life until someone reads them. They're just words on a page. But when you read them and your imagination brings them to life, now it's complete.
I love that. I never heard that, but I really love that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It was great meeting you. And everyone, go out and grab the Wednesday Club. It's available everywhere. And the sequel is on a spreadsheet right now. So there will be more books.
It was great talking with you, Lisa. So thank you so much.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining us on Booklights. Be sure to connect with us at www.readersentertainment.com for articles, blogs, videos, and podcasts that matter to readers.